around that crowd and go to that party. Your conscience, even though the preacher can't get to you, the praise team can't get to you, your youth leaders, your mom, your dad, you zone them all out. The conscience will preach to you. You see, here's the thing that you need to understand about the conscience. The psychologists tell us that the conscience sleeps. You know what that means? That actually means that it's possible that if you keep doing something long enough that you know is wrong, if you'll do it over and over and over, at first the voice of the conscience is so loud, it screams, don't do that, don't do that, don't do that. But as you keep doing it over and over, it gets quiet and don't do that, don't do that, don't do that, until it's finally just a whisper. But they say that the conscience sleeps. And even though you may do something and it doesn't bother you anymore, when you first did it, oh, you felt bad about it, but you don't even feel bad about it anymore. When you first start, that may happen. But you know what happens? The conscience goes to sleep, but it will wake up. And it's that voice that'll come to you at 2 o'clock in the morning after you slept with the guy. It's that voice that'll come to you after the party, when you've come home. And you're laying there and you can't sleep, and you hear and you feel this void and this emptiness. She didn't just get in this bed. We need to talk about why young people are messing up sexually for just a minute. It's because they're riding over their conscience. You don't just slip up and sleep with somebody. No, let's check out her bedroom. Let's raid this room for just a minute. Before the enemy can get you in the bed, he has to get in your head. So I want to check out what she's been listening to on her iPod. Now she goes to youth group. She raises her hands in church. She goes to conferences and jumps and shouts. But I wish we could go check out what's on her iPod, because after all, it's not how loud you shout. It's what you're putting in between your ears that's going to determine what kind of life you live. Call me an old holiness preacher. Call me whatever you want. But you can't listen to somebody singing about licking his lollipop and come to church on Sunday and raise your hands and have the Holy Spirit anoint you. God help us. God give us our conscience back. It's nothing but something this simple can take ground from you that you gain in this conference. Computer in her room. Notice she's been on the internet. Let me talk to you about the internet just a minute. Do you understand that Satan wants us to accept the pornographic view of life as normal? And the Bible said, if my eye is pure and filled with light, my whole body will be filled with light. But if my eye is filled with darkness, my whole body is filled with darkness. That the way, I can't look at this and my conscience not scream, stop it, stop it, stop it. Could it be the reason it's called the web? It's because if you ever log on to these kinds of sites, like an insect getting entangled, you get, and the more you try to get out. See, pornography is like athlete's foot of the mind. It screams, scratch my itch and I'll get relief. But if you scratch it, it gets worse and it spreads.